Easton Ellis is pissed again. Jason Blum turns to the dark side, and 4 upcoming movies that should be on your radar.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Late for shows.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
And we have a banner show for you today. Thank you for everyone joining us on YouTube Live and otherwise. And of course, as always, the OG classmates out in podcast land. What's up, fellas?
I saw an A's cup in the camera.
That's right.
A's.
Oakland Athletics.
Why?
It's a.
You're not a Giants fan?
I'm a local sports fan.
The A's are definitely more local now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they're playing exhibition games against the River Cats.
I got this at the last Battle of the Bay ever at Candlestick Park.
Nice.
Or I guess it's not. I guess
Oh, I remember that.
Oakland
Yeah.
Coliseum, not
yeah, you
Candlestick.
went to the last game. Yeah.
Not the last game, just the last Battle of the Bay.
Oh.
Yeah, the last game was, I want to say, a couple weeks ago. This was a couple months ago.
Which is just Oakland versus San Francisco.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
My family goes like damn near every year for like 25 years or something like that.
The second most boring sport in the world.
Behind
What's the
what,
first?
Golf.
Golf? Really?
Golf's all right. Golf's all right.
You don't like sports, don't you?
What? I don't like sports, don't I?
Yeah.
Don't I not like sports?
You don't die.
You don't like sports.
I used to play sports.
What'd you play?
What would you play?
I played basketball. I did play
Okay.
baseball, Little League, obviously. And then I played soccer mostly.
Soccer?
Soccer. Barely knew her.
Yeah. Although one of the best movies about baseball is Moneyball.
Yeah. Oakland
Yeah.
A's.
Yeah.
Oakland A's. Billy Bean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's a great movie.
Yeah, we're back in the studio. Tyler has no nickname. Thank God.
It's more like a question mark.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
Tyler.
I was confused about my name. So
Tylee.
Yeah, Tylee.
What's your least favorite nickname?
My tater tot.
Tater tot.
Yeah,
It's like a cat
my
name.
my grandma calls me
Tater tot.
My grandma calls me Tyler Tot. Yeah,
Your grandma?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had Heather's dad says it's cricket.
Is
The assertion that baseball is the second most boring sport. Sorry, Heather.
Well, we're in pro football season now. And
Yeah, your
so-
favorite season. Yeah.
yeah.
What was the first year that the Steelers won the Super Bowl? Super fan over there.
The first year that they won.
Super
Have
fan.
they won a Super Bowl?
Many. I think 4
Yeah.
or 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 5.
Tater tot over there. Super fan.
Tyler Tot. Yeah.
Tyler Tot.
All right, what's a football team that hasn't won a Super Bowl?
The Lions.
Really? Is that true? Mm-hmm. Are they the only ones?
I thought they were the Bengals.
No,
the-
that's
I thought, oh, it's
Cincinnati.
a tiger.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
Cincinnati,
know.
Cincinnati Bengals, Detroit Lions.
We should do a sports
Maybe Carolina
podcast.
Panthers.
We should.
Have they
we
ever
should,
won?
We should.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't claim to be a huge pro football fan like Tyler.
I don't claim to be either.
Punk rock. Show me your hat.
Oh yeah.
What's a Titan?
The Steelers.
It's like a
hat
giant,
right there.
like a giant from the.
Yeah, I know.
Greek gods.
Like God of War
Yeah.
Titans. Is
That-
that what they are?
Yeah, they're holding a lightning bolt. Like
It would be kind of funny if we made a podcast about sports, but we know nothing about sports.
So the guys in yellow.
That's
were
pretty much what our podcast
battling
is
the
now,
guys
except for its movies.
Yeah.
who are wearing black and silver or gray.
I had
I just hope that they're all having fun.
yeah, it's good.
I mean,
I you know what's funny is that I'm actually in like a fantasy football.
you
league.
are?
I am. Yeah. I know nothing about it when I was like picking the players.
know nothing.
I know nothing.
Are you winning?
No, I'm not winning.
Go
I'm
figure.
not at all. But like, there's like a group chat. It's mainly people from work, and they literally just needed a 10th person, and so I was I was like, all right, I'll do it because there's no money or anything involved. I'm just like picking random players. I like that guy's name. I like that guy's name. that guy's last name is McConkey. I'll do that one.
Titus Alualu. You got to pick that one up.
And there's like a group chat, and like they're all like being like they know a lot more about it
They
than
know
I do.
like the stats and stuff like that.
And I just like I'll message from time to time, and like they'll be like, "Oh, the Cowboys suck" or whatever,
Well, that's true.
and I'll be like,
We can all agree on that.
I'll
They had
just-
an embarrassing loss
"I'll just put it,
against the Lions.
I'll just put in messages like, well, maybe you guys just like teams that are good."
Jesus Christ.
Like Tyler.
Yeah.
That's Tyler's goal. I'm going to pick the winningest team. I'm just going to
That's not true.
bandwagon on it.
It's
No,
weird
no.
because it's such an arbitrary thing to like a team, like a specific team.
Well, I mean, if anyone who is new to the show, I only like the Steelers because they're the most punk rock team of the NFL
And you have one
league.
and you have cited one reason for that.
That's not true.
Yes,
Oh well, yeah, because they only have the one logo on the side of their helmet, and then the other logo is black. And then the commissioner is like, "Well, you have to have both sides of the helmet to have the logo." And the owner of the Steelers was like, "Go screw."
he said,
Like,
screw.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need to address something from some of the YouTube comments we've had. Not this week, but in the past.
Oh.
People have said that we need to not make it sound like we are trying to teach someone something about film. So it's
Like
more
mansplaining.
kind of film-splaining.
Is that what
How
we're
are
doing?
we doing? How are we doing?
I don't
that?
think that's the case. The whole point is like,
Who said that?
I'll name and shame. No, but
I feel like I remember a comment like this.
yeah, but I just want to address we're not the teachers of the class.
No, we're the students.
We don't attest. We're right alongside you.
Yeah.
The only person who is formally trained in film is Joseph.
Like I've said before, and I'll say it again. We are the students in the back of the class, gabbing and chattering, interrupting the class.
Failing
I'm coming
the class.
in late. Yeah, I'm. Well, no, you guys have passing grades. I'm the one who's coming in late.
Yeah,
Copying the homework from
he's
us.
yeah, barely reading the headline of the news story. Speaking of gab and chatter, let's get right to it.
Yeah.
Find some charity, you lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
Gab and chatter movie news of the week. Tyler, lead us off.
Oh boy, do we have some big news this week.
Hell yeah.
So Luca God, I practiced this name before I got on the show. Luca Guadagnino.
The second G is silent. Guadagnino.
Guadagnino. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Luca Guadagnino, he's set to direct the new American Psycho movie that is coming out through Lionsgate Film. And I was super stoked when I saw this news headline because he did the Suspiria remake, which I think a lot of people who are fans of Suspiria thought that it could never be remade.
Sure.
Like it was a lightning in a bottle and...
Made by the master, Dario himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a master, but it was a really great film for the time that it came out. And I mean, I love the original movie for what it is, but the remake completely changed the way that remakes are.
Change the game.
It changed the game. Yeah, exactly. It changed the game.
I don't know if it changed the game per se, but it definitely changed my perception about it. Like I thought kind of the same thing. Like why would you remake kind of like widely considered a classic of the genre, of the like giallo Italian slasher genre?
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
And then, but Luca did something completely different.
Yeah, and he paid homage to the original while also having his own creative flavor to the story.
And he made Tilda Swinton play 3 characters.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
always good.
And then he did what was that? What was
An
that?
old man.
And then we also reviewed another film of his,
Call Me By Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
And he also did Bones and All, which I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's great.
But so
Hey,
with the
Jack's in the chat.
It's the motherfucking MCFC podcast.
nice, hey Jack. So
Jack is
Hello, Jack.
Still awake somehow.
I don't know how he's still awake.
Still awake? Or
Do you
he-
sleep, Jack? Do
No.
you sleep?
Or he barely just woke up.
The sun never sets there.
Why
It's
do
like,
you do you wake up?
It's Iceland.
It's super early in the morning.
It's
right?
like 6 a.m. over there. Yeah.
Why are you awake?
Come
Well,
say hi to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that why? I just want to know why.
I'd like to think that he has like an alarm on his phone.
Oh, they're live.
Oh wait.
Gotta drop in.
live.
Yep.
So when I saw this name attached to this new American Psycho reiteration, I was super stoked. And it got me thinking, a lot of people in the past, I would say like half decade, maybe a decade, there's been a lot of like ire with remakes of movies. Now, I want to clarify that this isn't a remake of the 2001. I think it came out in 2001.
I don't know.
The
Something
original American Psycho came out in 2001 or 2000.
The movie I've probably seen close to the highest number count of any movie. Probably seen that movie like 25 times.
Well, I
but
mean, it's based off
I
of...
couldn't tell you the year.
But it's based off of a novel. But in the past, like...
It's 2000. Sorry, 2000.
Okay, 2000. Okay.
So this is a new screenplay based off
It's
of
it's a reiteration of the book rather than the movie, which, I mean, the original movie was a reiteration of the book as well, but it's not going based off of the Christian Bale starred movie.
Got it.
And so when I saw Luca attached to this project, I was thinking to myself of Suspiria, because when I saw a Suspiria remake coming out,
Go ahead, Tyler.
I was very apprehensive.
Yes.
Just because I didn't think, like, how can you remake Suspiria? Like, how can you remake, like, in the movie?
I have no desire
the original the original Suspiria movie.
We're back to Suspiria now. Huh?
Well, I mean, this is the context for this. The original
Tyler, were you excited about the Suspiria remake before it happened?
No, I wasn't. I was after. That's
But
what I was saying.
after you saw it, were you?
After I saw it, I was. It became like one of like my top 20 favorite movies.
But what about before you watched it though? When you first heard about it?
When I first heard about it, I was apprehensive. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
I was, yeah, that's what I was saying. I was apprehensive. I was like, it's a Suspiria remake. How can you remake this?
Yeah. That's
What is this?
what's the discussion?
My discussion is, so in the past decade, we've been getting a lot of remakes of movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's a lot of people who are fatigued with remakes. So when someone sees a headline, oh, they're making a new American Psycho, general audience probably going to groan and moan like, oh, I mean, how can you remake a classic like this, American Psycho? Like, you can't replace Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman.
Sure.
I say fat.
Okay.
Because you have Luca at the helm of this at this project.
The general audience doesn't know what that means though. With that name attached, they're like, who's directing it? They focus on the fact that that movie was made, in all the like people who got the wrong message from the original movie are going to be like, how could you remake Christian Bale was an icon?
That's true.
Right. And so my question to you guys is that is it a possibility to have like these classic iconic movies be remade without ire?
No. There's always going to be ire.
Yeah, there's always going to be people who are going to be like, no, the original one is perfect. I'm sure there's plenty of Suspiria stands out there who'd be like, I will never watch it, or I did watch it, and it's nowhere near comparable to the original one.
Tons. Because
just because they have a flavor in their mouth.
Very seldom do you get an original story that pulls ire because there's nothing attached to it.
Sure.
Short of something like Cuties, you know?
Yeah.
It's like...
What? That's very specific.
Yeah, because it's like you don't need to know anything about it except for it's a
I see.
hyper-focused look at these young girls who are in this dance squad.
But
music or something like that.
But do you think it's a deterrent to have okay, so for example, the American Psycho, like you see American Psycho being remade. Do you think that's a deterrent for audiences to not see it because okay.
Yeah, because like I said, because you have this preconceived like emotional attachment to that property. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a book, someone saying, I'm going to adapt this book into a movie, there's always going to be a chunk of the audience that says, man, that shouldn't, how could you turn that into a book, into a movie? And those are usually the book fans. But then there's a whole rest of the world like us that...
us normies.
Us mouth breathers that would rather watch a movie than the book. You know, and then there's people with feet in both camp who would probably say, well, I'll give it a shot and see which one's better.
Yeah.
But so just in that fact... The reason why Hollywood decides to make movies based off of these IPs is there's also an inherent audience that's going to drive into it. I liked the first one, I'll watch the remake, which is me.
And it usually, for me specifically, usually depends on who's attached.
Correct.
So like if Luke is attached, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah.
If it was Michael Bay remaking it, I'd be like, what? I'm really in now.
Well,
because what the fuck?
Yeah.
Michael Bay making American Psycho would be bananas and bonkers.
Yeah.
Who would have to be involved for you not to be interested?
UA Bowl.
I was literally thinking that.
Yeah.
But even then,
the
I'd be
Russo
like,
brothers.
The Russo brothers, I'd be less interested than Uwe Boll.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting about a new American Psycho coming out is that it's more prevalent than ever in our current modern day society, where like capitalism is running rampant in our current day and age. I feel like the comedy that because American Psycho is a dark comedy, like a lot of people associate it with it being a horror movie.
Yeah, he's like a slasher.
Like, yeah, it's
sure
like in the
comedy.
pantheon of like horror movies, but like when you really watch it, it's a very dark comedy. And it's kind of like what's the Michael Douglas film Wall Street?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that when that came out. Albeit it's a little bit less funny, but
I don't know if Wall Street is supposed to be funny.
Well, it kind of is.
I've never seen it, so I can't.
I mean,
comment,
it's absurdist.
Money never
Like,
sleeps.
Yeah,
Joseph had a question about the remake.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought, I got confused on what the format was going to be. With like, because Christian Bale was like he was Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was that guy. And now
and then Mila Kunis,
his get ready with me
Yeah.
became like parodied and across many different and referenced in a bunch of other, I don't know, things, movies, TV shows, commercials, ads. I think one of the guys from Queer Eye did his own version of his getting ready routine.
No, it wasn't Tan. It was Anthony. Yeah, Anthony.
how do you guys
Don't worry about it,
Yeah,
okay?
Don't worry.
That's my personal business, and I thank you not for prying.
Fair enough.
So like, who is gonna be the Patrick Bateman?
Peter Dinklage.
I don't know if that should be an appropriate joke.
No, I think it would be great. Just go completely off page. I've heard people say like recast it as a woman.
Isn't that American Psycho 2?
It is, but
Yeah.
it's not. She's not the same character.
Oh.
It's a different focus. It's not Patrick Bateman. It's not Patricia Bateman or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Take
think
a wild swing. That's what I say.
I don't know, Joseph. What do you think? Who do you think should
Wait, I'm
play
asking
Patrick? Okay. Well, Peter said Peter Dinklage.
Joke cancer.
No, not a joke answer. He's a great director. He's a great actor, and he can play actual psychotic.
I agree with that. I think Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Michael
or
B.
the
Jordan.
basketball player?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, I thought you meant Michael A. Jordan.
No,
Michael Jordan.
Not the. Well, actually, I mean, the basketball player probably could do it too, but I think Michael B. Jordan would be a good fit for
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
No, that's a joke answer.
Ben Roethlisberger.
There we go.
No, he's
Tyler's.
We could have. I mean, it could have. The thing is, though, they have to be young. So
I think
Jack Pick is good. Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, Jacob Elordi. I think Louis Pullman has.
Which one's that?
He was in Skincare. He was like he's Bill Pullman's son. He kind of looks like a young
Louis Pullman.
He looks like a Patrick Bateman type of person.
Oh, this guy. Okay, yeah.
I think he has
I didn't know it's Bill Pullman's son.
Yeah, in Skincare, he's like kind of ripped in that. And I
Yeah,
think
he is.
has a sort of a physique and kind of unhinged behavior.
Oh, he's also in Salem's Lot. Okay.
That he could probably pull off the look. I don't know about the performance, but at least the look.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to. I think so. With this new news coming out that there's going to be a new American Psycho, I think that
What's your answer?
I already said Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that was your real answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he would do incredible because like he has like a chiseled face. And I think he could definitely get the physique of Patrick Bateman, much akin to
I think
Christian
he already
Bale.
has that physique.
Yeah,
Almost.
exactly.
If we're
exactly.
if we're gonna gender swap it, I'd say Gillian Jacobs. I think it's
Jillian Jacobs?
Gillian. Her name's Gillian.
Are you sure it's not Jillian?
Yeah, it is. It's Gillian.
Okay.
I mean,
It's very strange, but it's true.
I mean, you could.
She's yeah.
It's pronounced Gillian.
Gillian Jacobs. Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't mind a gender swap, but I feel like
They did it with
that-
Dead Ringers.
I feel
Rachel Weisz.
I feel like American Psycho is a story for making fun of like machismo billionaire caricature. And
Elon Musk.
And you're not allowed to make fun of women, is that it?
No, that's well, I mean,
Oh, you want
kind of-
equality, except when it comes to that.
I'm just saying that I feel like the story for American Psycho, one, it being a dark comedy about like ultra rich like white men or even just regular men. I feel like that's
What? Regular men.
I feel like that,
Well, dude, we just don't know.
We don't know where it's going to be.
I feel like the story like is supposed to be about men being pieces of shit. And so like to put a woman in that role of Patrick Bateman's role, like it could work, but I don't think it would be as effective as it being a male-led role.
Maybe.
Yeah. I agree with that. Because I think that's a good
And
point.
the book was written by a woman, right?
Yeah. That's my
The book was not written by a woman.
Oh, that's right. No,
the
no,
movie
no.
was
The movie was
directed by a woman.
Correct. The book was written by a man.
Because Brett
Just-
Easton is a complete ass.
Just the fact that we have a gay man directing the next one
Is he gay?
is, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure.
I don't want to assume
Luca?
anything.
Yeah, pretty sure Luca is.
Are you just assuming?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I read
So you
that.
are assuming.
No,
Well, he's-
I'm pretty sure I read it before.
Well, he's a big fan of the
I
show,
read it.
so Luca.
It was Fox News.
So I think that I feel that it has to be a male-led role because it's a caricature of these.
Luca Guadagnino was in a relationship with Ferdinando Cito Floramino from 2009 to 2020, and he identifies as gay.
Okay.
All right. Well, so I'm really excited to see what comes about this project. It's coming from Lionsgate.
I'm gay.
That's Luca.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see what comes about it. I have full faith. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
You have full faith in Luca that he can adapt this honorably.
Don't get mad, Tyler. We talked about this before the show started. What's our runtime? 25 minutes?
Yeah, roughly.
26
I guess.
minutes? We're one story in.
That's it.
Okay, cool. My news story. We're back to talking about artificial intelligence and being involved in the movie industry, but in a maybe worse context now. It's just getting worse and worse.
Are you surprised?
More rich assholes are adopted.
No, but I'm still disappointed.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not going to be watching any Blumhouse movies anymore.
Why?
Why you say it like that?
Why? My best friend Jason.
My favorite. I think Blumhouse most recently has been known for producing decent movies.
Like popcorn horror movies.
Yeah.
The best movie they've been a part of is Whiplash.
Yeah.
And then it's all been downhill from there.
And the Tooth Fairy.
Oh, yeah, and Tooth Fairy. Was that before Whiplash?
It was.
Okay, so they started low, ended high, and now who knows where they're. And now they're in the trash. I guess along with Casey Affleck. So Meta, the Meta company, is teaming with Blumhouse and filmmakers like Casey Affleck to test this new movie generative AI tool. And is hoping to build some goodwill with the industry and gather feedback on how to improve this tool. The Meta is so it's partnering with the horror studio Blumhouse and specific creators like such as Casey Affleck and a couple others for a pilot program for Movie Gen. It's generative AI video models, and the company said it will continue to expand the program in 2025. And it's also going to be coming to Instagram in 2025 in some capacity, limited capacity, probably.
Terrible.
According to Zuckerberg, more like, you know what I'm talking about? So Casey Affleck, actor and director Casey Affleck, Anish Shiganti, who directed Searching and Run, and the Spurlock sisters, who directed something called The Break Line, are participants in this first annual Scream Writing Fellowship, where they will be using the tool. And Anish,
So what's this tool? What does it do?
It's like it creates video. It's generative video AI. It creates basically film
yes.
backgrounds and all kinds of shit.
And Anish Shiganti has already released their short film entitled "I Hate AI," and it's on YouTube if you want to watch it. And the shorts from Affleck and the Spurlock sisters will be shared at a later date. This site also hosts experimental videos created with the AI tool from creators such as artist Paige Piskin and travel photographer Eric Rubens. So it's just trying to become more involved in filmmakers and really trying to convince other filmmakers that
You should use.
yeah, you should use this.
Yeah, don't hire a human being. Just make it with a fucking program.
Yeah.
Just fill in the gaps with slop.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like in the music industry, the electronic music industry, where they create programs that have like the artificial drum beats, and
But someone still programs
Like-
those drum beats.
sure,
You're still
and
timing the beats.
someone's programming that AI stuff too. So it's like I'm not saying I'm in support of it. I'm just saying that someone is still creating that program. So is it
a company, which obviously has people involved in it, is creating it?
I suppose
yes.
if I wanted to play devil's advocate, a programming could be considered like an art because you're going from
then art that puts
You're-
other people out of their art.
yeah. But I mean, if it's for the sake of like preservation of art, this art form begets that art form, and that art form becomes the new standard. I get that to a degree.
So then that art becomes what? What's the word for it?
dated?
Irrelevant.
I would no,
obsolete.
not I wouldn't
Obsolete.
obsolete. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like I've said this before, AI is a super loaded word. Just because it's AI doesn't mean it's bad. What I don't like is generative AI, where you take something from a pool that has reference materials that are copyrighted material,
Yeah.
and it creates something new based off of that. But it's just an amalgamation of those things. If you're taking all of your own copyrighted material and making something from that, that's one thing. Like an artist who has 1,000 paintings and it feeds all those paintings
Only
into
referencing your own.
yeah, it references those
that
own
you've created?
1,000 paintings, and then it can like click a button, and it can generate new paintings based off of that.
Yeah.
Sell those for $50 and sell the hand painted ones for $1,000 or
Right.
whatever. It's like I'm okay with that. And I watched that I Hate AI video. Did you watch it, Joseph?
No, I didn't, because I'm not going to.
It was this. What was the guy's name? The
Shiganti.
Shiganti. He basically had old home videos that he made when he was like 9 and 10 and 11 of like him and his brother or whatever making these little videos. And it's like him walking down the street and he goes, I wanted this film to be set in New York, but I was a 10-year-old kid in the suburbs of Chicago or
Right.
Ontario or whatever.
Somewhere else completely different.
Yeah, so he fed that old video into this thing and put like the background of a metropolitan city there. And it looked like shit.
Yeah.
It looks it lost all the charm of like a little kid making a film.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like we don't need a 10-year-old to make a movie that looks like something Paul Thomas Anderson shot or Wes Anderson, It's
An
like
attempt to make it look like that.
yeah, it's like it's almost like people are trying to fast forward the thought behind that film, that short 3-minute, 5-minute movie, whatever it was almost like, if I had this, it would have encouraged me to dream bigger. That's fucking lame.
Yeah.
That's fucking lame. It's like I agree that takes the growth pattern of life out of it and saying, I want to skip from I don't know shit to I'm an established filmmaker.
I think the problem that I have with AI is that it's such an incredible technological advancement that we have available to us that is used for nefarious reasons in a sense. Whereas because AI in of itself isn't nefarious, it's just a technological advancement. But people who want to make money, they're using it to their advantage to capitalize
To win capitalism.
Yeah. So I think that, it's like with the technology we have like right here in the studio right now, like people.
We could be using this to make snuff films.
Right.
but we don't.
Exactly.
Joseph,
So-
you were going to say something?
I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with it. It's not even necessarily intelligence, quote unquote, because it's not generating anything of its own intelligence. It's just using reference points and just mashing it together. So it's not even intelligence in the sense of like AI, like the movie AI or like an iRobot type of intelligence. I think that it's just like it's a faux intelligence, and people who are using it think that they're creating something meaningful when you have this guy who, like this filmmaker who uploaded that short, using home videos of when he made when he was a kid and removing all of the charm and the authenticity of it, and then making it into something worse. Without any, I guess, any sort of honesty.
No, take
the-
it outside of the movie world and the art world. There are people who are mass producing AI books, like novels, and they feed the prompt into ChatGPT or something similar. About this. Here's the concept. Here's the main character. Here's the lead. I want it to have a sad ending, and I want it to be written from the perspective of the protagonist. And then the third act, it needs to turn to the perspective of the villain. And they just like click generate, and then they make small changes to the prompt and re-edit it or whatever, and they release this fucking book. And it's like, that takes all of the life out of that piece of art, that book. It's like, why do I want to read a book from a computer?
Yeah, because art made from humans usually has some sort of life experience put into this book, painting, movie, or whatever, because the person who made it, wrote it, or whatever, has something that they're going off of and is inspired by probably something in their own life, and either altering it or just doing like almost like a biopic type of thing where you can feel some sort of relativity when you watch it or read it, see it or listen to it. And when you are looking at something that is made by a computer, it takes that person's quote unquote experience, it filters it through computer garbage, and then spits it out.
Well, I mean,
a bunch of
I disagree.
not to get like not to get
shut up, chatbot.
Not to get super like philosophical into this though, but you could like there should be like studies on, like, let's say someone makes like an AI movie and then someone makes an actual film like with a whole crew of people, and you don't tell them that one was made from AI and one was
Maybe 100 years from now that might be the reality, but you can tell the second you see AI slop, because it's fucking slop.
Well, I mean, we're in the infancy of it.
Finish your hypothetical.
So I'm just saying that there should be a study, because I feel like, I mean, for myself, I've fallen victim to watching and viewing like AI artwork and videos, thinking that it was made by like a person. Like, oh, so there's this like a TikTok like channel that I was watching. They do like dark fantasy TikToks, like that they take from like, you know, famous IPs like, you know, Legend of Zelda or like Castlevania or something like that, and they make it look like it's like an animated feature. And I thought that was just like people making it like by their own hands. And then you have to look at the hashtags. That was the one thing that I had to learn, is you have to look at the hashtags.
You can't see that ultra smooth look to everything.
Well, it does, but I thought that was people making it. And so it'll say AI created or like AI creator. And I'm just like, oh man.
There's a check mark on the YouTube uploads when you upload a new video that says, is there AI content within this?
Yeah. I mean, it fooled me, but I mean, I'm kind of a dumbass though. So like, you know.
It even dumbs down my glorious memes. AI memes are a thing now, and they're so sad. Yeah. It's like I have a video of Mudang. There's like a bunch of clips of Mudang, and there's a fucking guy talking over it. The baby hippo was born one day. Everyone marveled at the baby hippo. Yeah. It bounced around with excitement and fervor.
But it's an AI voice.
And you're like, who wrote this? And no one wrote this. A fucking Zuckerberg. Yeah. Zuckerbrain.
I mean,
but
that's the speed of capitalism that we're going at.
Tyler, we need to move on.
But anyway, on top of like the bad stuff the AI does in the arts, it's also just terrible for the environment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it uses a lot of resources like water and like the mining of materials for the hardware to work the software, and then like water is used for cooling systems, and it's obviously nowhere near something like the fossil fuel industry in terms of environmental destruction. but
You heard it here first.
it certainly is not good for the environment. It can be good. It can be not as resource draining as it is, and it can be used in like climate scientists can use AI to create scenarios of natural disasters and like what it would look like, and like they can.
Dude, that's the good stuff.
Kind of see what they can do, but right now AI is destroying the environment that it could help be protecting. So it's not in that stage at the moment.
I saw a thing that said it was like a what was it? It was like a mammogram sort of a thing.
Yeah,
and it was a scan of a woman's breast 3 years ago, and this AI program spotted this little teeny dot that just looked like a million other dots on the screen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 years later, it showed that's where the tumor started forming when she got breast cancer.
Wow.
And it's like, that is what AI should be used for. That, or you're talking about like looking for natural disasters, aversion, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin in the chat. What's up, Kevin?
The nuclear energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Google just signed its first nuclear energy deal to power data centers.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, I don't want to get too far into it, but
Wait a minute, I get cut off and then you guys keep talking about it? All right.
Joseph's trying to say a word. You're talking right over him for like 5 minutes. Read the room. I'm just saying, I don't think that the fact that they're buying nuclear is necessarily bad. The fact that they're just creating, buying their own energy source. I think nuclear power is probably a source that it gets a bad rap because of the failures in the past, and the technology is much better now.
Just because we destroyed an entire region of the world
That's
doesn't mean it's necessarily bad.
Yeah, if you any like coal power is bad.
Yeah,
wind power can be bad if it's put in the middle of a fucking city where planes fly.
Causes cancer, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
It can, deformities and all that stuff. I'll end this discussion with so there's a movie coming out called Legend of Ochi.
I think it's Ochi.
Ochi. This is the first time. This is a first feature from this director, and based on the trailer, this is directed by Isaiah Saxon. People are accusing of it being of generative AI being used to create the little animated creature that's involved. And this quote from him says, he's shutting down the AI rumors, saying that it was not used to make this movie. And he says, "Don't be shitting on people who've dedicated their life to this craft." And all of it was used. It was used partially with puppetry and with 3D animation. All close to medium shots of the creature are animatronics, puppetry, and suit performers. Wider stunt shots are 3D animation. Yeah, it's now we're getting to territory of things that are authentically and organic,
artistically created,
are actually created, are being accused of being AI generated.
I saw the trailer. It looks really cute. Willem Dafoe's in it, so I'll watch it. And it's got a great like puppet monkey thing.
Yeah.
And I saw the trailer, and then immediately people were quote tweeting it saying, "This looks like AI."
Yeah.
And the director has to come to its defense and basically say,
"No, it isn't."
Yeah, we spent 4.5 fucking years making this. We storyboarded every scene. Here's how we made the movie. And it's like, that's a depressing state that the world is in.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the current state of AI right now.
Yeah, fuck AI.
But that's all I have.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so for my news story, I don't have a specific one story. I just want to talk about some upcoming movies that I think are kind of cool and you should keep your eyes open for. So first off, we've talked about this on the show, the upcoming Christmas release of Werewolves starring Frank Grillo. Talked about it on the show before. I saw some couple stills and it was something I was really excited about. Also very practical effects, also very little CG, or not very little, but less CG and more physical creations. A supermoon event triggers a latent gene in every human on the planet, turning anyone who enters the moonlight into a werewolf for one night. Chaos ensues and close to 1 billion people died. Now, a year later, the supermoon is back. And there's one of the posters, like the posters I've seen, it almost looks like one of those propaganda posters, and it says, "Warning, changing is illegal. You will be shot on sight." And it's a person like a cartoon of a person changing into a werewolf.
That's awesome.
I'm like, it's great. It looks so good. And the trailer is bonkers. It played before The Apprentice. It played before Terrifier 3. So people are talking about it. And then just yesterday or the day before yesterday, there was a supermoon here.
Yeah.
They released the
It was
trailer
yesterday.
They released the trailer on Super Moon Day.
That's awesome.
I know, so cool.
That's cool.
And Stephen C. Miller is the director, and he's somebody I've been communicating with him on Twitter. I'm trying to see if I can get him to come on the show and talk to us, because he says they are going to do press as the movie gets closer, I think. And he's just a really, really passionate director. And he said that I think 6-7 years ago, he put a tweet out. Maybe it was a little bit less than that. Anyway, he put a tweet out and said, what kind of movie should I make next? A werewolf, a zombie, a slasher, whatever. And James Gunn himself responded and said,
I think I remember that. Yeah.
You should do a werewolf movie. There's not enough of them coming out. Unless you got a really interesting take on zombies or slashers, you're probably not going to do anything new.
He's like, done and done.
And he said, as soon as that happened, he's like, okay, that settles it. James Gunn says I should do a werewolf movie. We're going to put all our effort into it. And it looks fantastic. Comedy horror is a genre that I think is kind of popular right now. This is action horror. At one point, Grillo is in the back of like an army truck with a minigun mowing down werewolves. Yeah. And you're like,
these innocent people who have no.
Hey, man.
It's like a Rambo.
Say the same thing about zombies, you know? It wasn't their fault.
Yeah, but they're changed. But these
They're
werewolves
breaking the law.
They'll change back, though. They change back.
I am the law. So they should just let them kill them? Exactly. All right, so that's Werewolves. It's coming out right around Christmas time. I don't know the actual day, but sometime in December.
This is a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie. Can't wait. Next up, Ryan Coogler, who made Black Panther and a number of fantastic movies, very entertaining movies, stars in what Tyler thinks should be our next Patrick Bateman, Michael B. Jordan, starring in an upcoming movie called Sinners. Sinners.
Oh, yeah.
Set in 1930s Deep South. And
The Deep South.
yeah, that's right. It follows twin vampires, both played by Michael B. Jordan, who arrive in a racist town and go to war against the Ku Klux Klan.
Why would you go to a racist town?
That's just a town in the South.
Oh, okay. We're here at Racist Town.
Yeah.
Would you just blow in from Racist Town?
Yeah. You heard of a sundown town? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Terrible.
probably there's still sundown towns.
Is there really?
Yeah. Donald Trump.
Big fan.
Yeah. He did almost all of his rallies for like the last month have been in sundown towns.
Jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, so this is it's set in the 30s. It seems pretty cool, and it seems like another sort of a horror action movie.
Yeah, it looks cool. I saw the trailer.
Yeah, it looks pretty dope. So yeah, that's called Sinners. By the name, you wouldn't think vampire,
No.
but it looks interesting. You know.
Yeah.
Sinner.
Yeah. Next one. This is and that's supposed to be coming out later this year or early next year. Next one is just in pre-production.
Oh.
But it is the people attached to it is what's interesting to me. It's a new comedy that's being helmed by Matt Stone and Trey Parker of South Park, but also by Kendrick Lamar. And those are a group of people I never thought I would want
together to make a movie.
Want to see together. But it seems interesting.
What you just
Oh, sorry.
What you just.
That's right. So it's basically a video surfaced on social media that shows that they were potentially shooting scenes for an upcoming live action comedy in Pomona.
All right.
Yeah.
What Kendrick Lamar's involvement?
Yeah, I don't know. It says, but he's in front of the camera, so I don't know if he's.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's like also producing, or I would imagine so. But I'm sure it's Matt Stone and Trey Parker directing.
A movie? When was the last movie they were involved with? Not Team America. Was it?
Basketball?
That was after Team America. Oh, no, that was before Team America.
Yes, I know. That was a joke.
I don't know. Team America has one of the greatest running big gags of any movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're all puppets.
Calling Squeak little bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I am not a little bitch.
That's basketball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You said Team America.
Oh, I did? Okay. I was thinking of basketball.
If you call me little bitch 7 or 8 more times, I'm really
I'm
upset.
out of here.
I'm out of here.
Exactly.
That's so good.
I think the last movie was Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, 1999.
No,
that's-
Team America
Team
came out
America
after.
was-
So that's Matt Stone. Maybe it's under Trey Parker. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, they're incredible creators.
Yeah, they are.
Like
They're still making South Park, aren't they?
Yeah.
They still are.
Yeah.
Hang it up. All their credits are South Park. It's really hard to find a movie. All right. Anyways, so that's Matt Stone and Trey Parker and Kendrick Lamar teaming up for something, a comedy,
Word.
imagine. And then lastly, this is just announced. There's no real information about this, but Henry Cavill is going to star in a Voltron movie for MGM/Amazon.
Color me surprised. That dude is a freaking nerd.
Yes, he is.
He's
a glorious nerd.
He's a buffed out nerd.
Why are you so angry about Cavill?
I'm not. I just...
You said you're not a fan, and as soon as I bring him up, you're getting all saucy.
That guy's a nerd.
I don't know. Maybe I'm subconsciously jealous of his physique.
I mean, we all aren't we all?
Yeah.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
I like how sometimes when you click a sound drop, it puts the video up there.
I know. You see, look at that.
Yeah. Click a different one. There you go. Thank you. Also, every time you do the "oh yeah" one, it does too.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So, what is he going to play? Is he going to
play
robot?
Voltron?
I don't know.
Is Voltron a person?
Voltron is the
species
collection of the robots when they go together.
Species
I
of
believe.
robot.
Yeah, he's probably going to be like the pilot. Henry Cavill, you got to pilot the Eva.
So if you were part of a collective robot that you assembled together, what part of the body would you be?
I would be the torso.
You like to be the core.
Yeah.
They also have to be the head if that's the case. Though I'm pretty sure the head is. Also
Oh wait,
part of
no,
the
never
torso.
mind. I'll take the left arm.
Left arm.
Arm.
I want right leg so I can kick.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take right arm. No one wants to be left leg.
We'd make it such a cool robot.
But we'd have to have producer justice and then chatbot on the other side.
Yeah.
Help me out.
What if we made that like that human sort of giant human made out of humans in Daniel's short rubber what's it called, rubber ball?
Oh yeah,
interesting ball.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That would be weird.
It could be like the Hundreds of Beavers giant beaver statue
made out of beavers.
Beaver mech.
Yeah.
Beaver mech.
So the Voltron's based on the Japanese sci-fi series Beast King Go Lion and Kiko Kankai Dairagu. World Events edited and dubbed the series as a syndicated show, naming it Voltron, Defender of the Universe, which ran into the mid-1980s. Premise centered on 5 young pilots in a battalion named the Robot Lions, which are vehicles that join together to form a mega robot known as Voltron. So there you go.
Mega robot.
Yeah, a super robot.
This was a show. Right?
Yeah.
It was in like
I don't know if there's
it
ever
was
a
like
movie
in
or
the
not.
90s?
It was like the 80s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like Speed Racer, like where they have like
So,
all
but
those
then
like
there's
recycled shots.
Beast Wars? No. What's it called?
Yeah, Beast Wars.
They're animals and they
Yeah, Beast Wars.
join together to one giant human.
No. That's Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Power Rangers. They're
Yeah.
Megazord. You know.
Right.
There's a lot of them.
It's morphin time.
Oh, who's that guy? The robot.
fucking- I can't remember.
Beelzebub.
Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, Beelzebub.
Nice.
So, anyways, those are some upcoming projects. Some of them are very soon. Some of them are way down the road. But right now, let's get to some streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Stream picks. Movies that we watched this week on our streaming services that you can watch too. Tyler, lead us off.
Okay. So I do have I was gonna put this as an anti-streaming pick, but I had a week to reflect on it.
Okay.
I watched 2023's Poor Things
okay.
streaming on Hulu.
Okay.
So on Letterboxd, I put it. I'm just gonna read it. My review.
Tyler reads his own Letterboxd reviews. This is me, myself, and Tyler.
Okay.
Yes. So I watched this movie, and after I watched it, I was angry.
Okay.
I put 1 star on it.
All right.
And
now we're talking.
And so the review goes like this. Boring and a waste of a unique idea. Costume design was great, but the fish-eyed lens distracted me. Music sucked, did not get any closure, and it was just so slow. It is okay, Yorgo. We all have our missteps.
I like you guys call him Yorgo.
We're on a first name basis.
He's just one Yorgo.
Yeah.
not-
There's an S at the end of his name.
Oh, it is. It's
Yeah, Yorgos.
It's like James.
Yeah.
It's like calling someone James.
Yeah. It's all right, James. What's up, James?
Anyways,
What do you mean there's no closure?
so when so that was my initial reaction.
Right after the movie.
Right after the movie, I was angry. I was like, because
I'm
I was
angry.
I was looking forward to this movie. And then I had a week to sit on it, let it, like ferment.
Just
in my
top of the
mind.
week.
Like, and I have a little bit more of a different perspective now.
Okay.
I think this movie is actually, so I said that it wasted a unique idea because I was thinking of, you guys seen The Bride of Frankenstein?
No.
No.
I'm aware of it, but I haven't.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it was going to be more akin to that, where like it was going to be like this Frankenstein monster kind of person finding their way into this modern world.
Mm-hmm. A chappie, if you will.
And it was in a way it was like that, but
with sex.
But because of the context of what happened to Bella Baxter, I think her name was Bella Baxter.
Yep.
Her brain was replaced with her infant child, or not even infant. It was the fetus in her body when she killed herself. The brain of that fetus was replaced into the adult body of Bella Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
And so after like thinking about it more and like sitting on it, I thought this movie is actually a really, really creepy movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is really creepy because you have to think that this adult body has the brain of a toddler.
Pretty much.
It's an infant getting down.
And so
it's creepy.
And so thinking about it more, like the reason why I was disappointed was because I was thinking this was going to be like a classic, like Frankenstein's monster movie, but it became more than that. And it was a little bit over my head at first, because I was so disappointed that it wasn't that. And then thinking about it more and more, I'm like, okay, so this is kind of like a message on like pedophilia almost, because all the men in her life, like, of course, like Emma Stone, like she's a stone cold fox. And so these men get seduced by her looks, but they don't realize that she has the mind of a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she's growing up through life, these men who are trying to court her and stuff, that they're courting a child.
Yeah.
So
she grows up pretty fast, though, to be fair.
Well, yeah. So Willem Dafoe's character, like, he does make a comment in the movie saying, like, oh, well, her like motor skills and stuff, like they're accelerating very fast for whatever reason. I don't know. They don't really explain it, but she's growing up at an accelerated rate.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, I think Mark Ruffalo like plays an incredible creep in this movie.
He's great. He's super funny.
You like him so you love to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie. And even when he's like courting her, like up at the balcony or the rooftop, in the beginning, he's still a creep. Like I was sitting there, I was like, no, Emma Stone, don't, no, Bella.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I will say though, so like having it simmering like in my head for about a week after I watched it, I was like, okay, well, this movie is it's good now that I understand like the implication of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And like getting the expectation of it being a Bride of Frankenstein movie, and more being in its own story of creepy men preying on young children.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of has a greater impact on me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fisheye lens definitely took me out of the movie a lot. I wasn't really sure like what direction Yorgos was going with that, other than maybe that it was like
he's
going through like a toddler's perspective. Like maybe that was the case.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I could think of. I think the acting, I think the costume design was really great.
You put it at 1 star immediately afterwards. Where do you kind of come down at now, you think?
I would probably put it right now. I would probably put it at 3.5 stars.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's significant.
I think that it definitely deserves another rewatch, especially like sitting on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went into the again, like I keep repeating myself, but I went into the expectation of something it being
Slightly
different,
different. Yeah.
being different than what it was. And I gotta say, like the acting was that I mean, if you're not familiar with like Yorgos films, like the acting is very, very unique. His direction is very unique.
And the dialogue.
Minimalist dialogue.
Yeah.
Minimalist emotions.
I think the costume design though was his best. I think the only movie I saw a little bit of Killing of a Sacred Deer. I haven't seen a lot of it, but like that's a little bit more like modernized. And then The Lobster is more or less like the same kind of modernized, but like the dialogue is all the same like throughout those three films, like very stilted and just like you said, like minimal.
Mm-hmm.
I think Emma Stone did a very, very good job. At first I was like, it was kind of cringeworthy of like how the way she walked, but once you get the context of her like having like an infant brain,
Yeah, she has no motor skills yet.
She doesn't have no motor skills, so I was like, okay, like that makes sense. Like, I think that it's just.
Is this a feminist movie or the most feminist movie?
I think it is a very feminist movie.
Brianna, when she finished watching it, fucking hated it. She was like, I'm ready to burn this movie to the ground.
Really?
Yeah.
Half star. And then as time went on, she's like, I think I have a little bit more appreciation for it, but I still hate it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I wouldn't go to that extreme of hating it, but it definitely, I feel her like after watching it, I was.
Hashtag believe women.
Yeah,
She can feel however she wants, and you can't tell her otherwise.
I mean, you know, that's still out for the jury to decide. But yeah. So Poor Things, that's streaming on Hulu. After watching it, immediately I didn't like it, but like sitting on it, I think it is worthy of a watch.
Cool.
Yeah, I felt like I wouldn't say it's specifically like pedophilia. It's more like men who infantilize women.
Yeah,
just
that's a good way to
even
put
if
it,
they're
yeah.
over obviously the age of 18 and like trying to take ownership and all this stuff. And like after finishing it, I've only watched it one time, and I went by myself to the theaters because
me too.
Deanna didn't want to watch it. One, it's like one of the funniest movies of 2023, I think.
Yeah,
and but it felt like this, like everything that Barbie was saying, it was like it was being said in this movie, but in a much cruder and more blunt way.
Sure, yeah.
And
I can see that.
I got a lot of backlash, I think, because obviously it was directed by a man and Barbie was directed by a woman. So it's like, how could he know the woman experience being a man? And then I was like, well, maybe it's just more about like not necessarily being a woman, although that is a big part in the movie in growing up in a man's world. But also just being a human and navigating the world around you in this weird, very strange and odd context that is Poor Things. But yeah, the cinematography and everything in that movie is just fucking fantastic.
It's a crazy achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I think what also I like about the movie too is like I think Yorgos like definitely points out like the absurdity of like societal norms, specifically where they are in that fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
Where she goes up and she's like, I'm gonna punch that baby in the face. I don't like it.
Hey, we've all been there.
But like they're so cavalier about it. Like she's so cavalier about it, and
yeah, she's
like
just
Mark
like,
Ruffalo's character is like, "Come, this is like
you don't because she just has no filter, basically, like a lot of little kids don't."
Yeah, exactly. So I really like that aspect of her like discovering like how society works and the absurdity of how society works. And so yeah, Poor Things. It's I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me after like meditating on it. So yeah, that's my streaming pick for the week.
What was once an anti-stream pick,
now it's a maybe.
Now it's worth a watch.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's the only one?
Yep.
All right, Joseph, what do you got?
Okay, I'm just going to go in chronological order because I watched quite a bit. One of the more interesting movies I watched at the very top of the week, and it is streaming on Hulu. It's called Mr. Crockett. It's released this year. directed by someone named Brandon Espy, starring people that I have not seen in any other movie before, I don't think. Plot of it is a single mother thinks she's found the key to calming her child down, and the movie starts with her husband having recently died and them going to the funeral, and her young kid doesn't know how to deal with the loss or deal with grief, so he just kind of becomes angry and hard to handle for her alone, and she's trying to learn. She's like listening to like books on tape, and this takes place in like the 90s, like early 90s, in a small town in Pennsylvania. It had called like Shuri Bottom or something. That's the name of the town. It's a town I never heard of. I don't know if it's real. And Mr. Crockett is a character who's like he's like a Pee-wee's Playhouse, Mr. Rogers type of character. He's like kids show.
Yeah.
He's a kids show from the 70s. And one day, those little free libraries.
Yeah.
I don't think they existed in the 90s, but that concept. But it just magically appears in front of her house, and she goes outside and she's like, "What the hell is this thing? Where'd this come from? Has this always been here?"
Oh.
She opens it, and it's a VHS of Mr. Crockett, the TV show.
Oh, cool.
And so she goes in, she puts in the TV, and it's his show. It's like pretty much more like a Pee-wee's Playhouse with like talking furniture and stuff like that.
Okay.
Very cartoonish, over the top. And he becomes like obsessed with it. And so he's just watching it all the time. And then she's like, "Okay, that's enough watching that. You've been watching this like all weekend." And he gets really, really angry.
Oh, no.
And then Mr. Crockett essentially becomes like the Ring and comes out of the TV.
Oh.
And it turns very dark, and it's a very bloody horror movie. And
Tis the season.
he is like a demon entity, Mr. Crockett, who is quote unquote rescuing children from abusive parents.
What? Interesting.
And there are different scenes of him going into other people's households. Like one guy, he is a single dad. He is he's an addict, and his house is in disarray, and his daughter is in her bedroom, which is the most well-kept room in the house. And she's watching Mr. Crockett on TV, and the TV breaks, and she goes and tries to bug her dad to fix it, and he's essentially nodding off, and he's got a needle in his arm. And she's like, "Dad, the TV's broken. I need you to fix it." And he's like, "Ah, fuck." Right?
Again.
You can imagine the type of father he is.
Sure.
So he goes and he tries to fix it, and it doesn't work. And then he's like, "I don't know. Well, I'll fix it. I'll get you another one tomorrow." And then
another TV.
It's like a tiny little tube TV.
Oh, okay.
And so he goes back into his living room, and Mr. Crockett's there, sitting in his chair, and then he proceeds to kill him.
To unalive him?
Yeah. I won't get into there is some pretty grisly scenes in this movie with Mr. Crockett, and you get more lore on him as who he was, because he was a real person at one point.
Right.
And he somehow essentially makes a deal with the devil in a way. And it was a very creepy, bloody, interesting concept. And it's an all-black cast, and it takes place in, I don't want to say the ghetto, but it takes place in sort of like an impoverished area, and it's creepy and it's bloody. I will say the ending is not as good as the rest of the movie, but overall I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Cool.
So that's streaming on Hulu. Definitely worth a watch.
All I've seen about that was the poster and a couple of my friends logged on Letterboxd. So
yeah,
interesting. I'm curious now.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch, especially now.
What's it called again? Mr. what?
Mr. Crockett.
Cool.
Mr. Crockett. Next up, I watched another Halloween themed movie called Haunt, streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi. And this is pretty indie. It's a fun, kind of campy. It takes itself a little bit more seriously than a straight up, like, it leans into like comedy or anything like that.
Yeah.
These friends are walking home from a Halloween party, and they stumble upon this random like haunted house experience on the way home. And it essentially becomes like a Saw trap escape room type of scenario.
Okay.
And there's no rhyme or reason as to why it's happening to them.
Okay.
But it's a group of friends. You can imagine like one by one kind of gets picked off, and there are these actors, like haunt actors, that are throughout the whole thing. And the first encounter they have with them is one is like behind a chain link fence, and it's dragging like a body bag. Opens it, and there's like a knocked out human in it.
Mm-hmm.
They take like a fire poker, and they like jam it into their head, but then like steam blows, so they don't really see everything. So like, oh, good show.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of the nature of a lot of like Halloween movies. It's like you can almost get away with anything because it's like, oh, it's just Halloween. It's scary. It's bloody. It's not real blood.
Yeah.
It's just a trick. And then it just kind of escalates from there as they get further and further into the haunted house. And then there's like a reveal of the actors and like,
how long are they in this haunted house for?
The whole movie.
Jesus.
It's at least all night. It's like from late at night, like I don't say like 11 p.m. to like morning, pretty much.
Jeez.
And they're trapped, and they slowly realize that it's like, oh, this is real. People are dying. And then the reveal of like the clowns or the actors, because they're all wearing masks and like big costumes, is like, who the fuck are these guys? They the design of them is like, I was like, are they aliens? Or are they just like carnival, like carnies?
So they take their mask off and there's a creature underneath.
Yeah, it's like when Jack Nicholson doesn't have his Joker makeup on.
Oh, okay.
I see.
It's just like that's his face.
Actually, technically, I don't know. People are going to get messages for that. He has to put tan flesh-colored makeup on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So his true mask is the... So that's Haunt. I think worth a watch in October specifically. Any other time, it doesn't make sense. That's Amazon Prime and Tubi. I watched a Todd Phillips classic of a television remake from the 70s, Starsky and Hutch. Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Snoop Dogg as Huggy Bear, streaming on Netflix. And I've seen this a couple times before, like a long time ago. Also, Vince Vaughn is in this, and Jason Bateman. I didn't realize, obviously, I didn't know who Todd Phillips was in 2004.
Yeah, I didn't know it was him.
But watching it again, this is still pretty fun. It's a pretty fun movie.
I remember liking it.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. And Ben Stiller is his Starsky. He's like no fun having cop.
Yeah.
Basically, takes his job very seriously. And Hutch is the sort of loose cannon type of do whatever you want type of cop.
I like the interrogation scene with the bullet.
Yes,
it's a really well written scene.
Yeah. But overall, it's a fun comedy. I had a good time watching it.
Where's that streaming?
This is on Netflix.
Cool.
It's very accessible. There's a lot of good bits in it. Will Ferrell's in it for a little bit as a inmate, and they're trying to get information out of him, and he makes him do the double dragon to get information. He's like, you got to do something for me. You go over there, do a little walk, do a little turn. Yeah, fun. Streaming on Netflix. After that, I watched Batman Forever.
Oh boy!
Again, the saving grace of that movie is Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah,
he went full send.
Oh, you mean Edward Nigma?
Edward Nigma. Yeah,
I got a bad case of ligma.
Edward Nigma, my balls.
Is that the Batman movie with the seals hit?
Kiss from a Rose?
No, that's not that one.
I think that's Batman Returns.
No, that's not that one either.
I'll look it up.
That's the one with Batgirl, whatever that one is.
Batman Forever.
No, that's not Batman Forever.
Batman and Robin.
Is it? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's Batman and Robin. Yeah, you're right.
But this one introduces Robin, Chris O'Donnell, right? Chris O'Donnell as Robin, and you see his family die.
It's Batman Forever, Kiss from a Rose.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't listen. Or I didn't hear it.
Joel Schumacher's 1995 masterpiece with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face and Jim Carrey as Edward Nigma.
Oh, I didn't hear that song.
I don't know if they play it in the movie. It's just like for the advertising, maybe it's over the credits.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I turned it off immediately. It's a silly movie, Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Kind of saved by Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Is Poison Ivy in this one?
No.
Okay. I get them mixed up, those two.
Yeah, I do too.
That one's the following
Robin.
one, I think. But yeah, Batman Forever, not a great movie. Rewatch Over the Garden Wall. Don't even talk about that.
Nice.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
Halloween. There's stop motion specials coming out soon.
Cool.
In a couple weeks. Fantastic Mr. Fox rewatch. Another great stop motion.
Where's that streaming? Where was Over the Garden Wall streaming to?
That's on HBO or Max, I should say. Fantastic Mr. Fox is on Peacock and Disney Plus.
Really?
Wes Anderson's most wholesome movie, I think. Probably.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. Maybe Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs.
I don't think
has a depressing undertone.
I think a kid could enjoy Fantastic Mr. Fox more than Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Isle of Dogs is a little bit more. You gotta pay attention a little bit more, I think.
My favorite scene in Fantastic Fox is when they're in the den. He's like, I don't want to live. It was like, I don't want to live poor anymore, or something like that. Or
yeah. I don't want to be poor anymore.
Yeah, it's like it's just like, yeah, I don't want to be.
Don't
poor
we
anymore.
all?
Yeah,
it's like we don't.
Yeah. I watched the All Hallows Eve movies.
Oh Jesus!
The first one, All Hallows Eve, is the first appearance of Art the Clown of the Terrifier series. And not well made, very low production quality, very indie. But the first All Hallows Eve movie, I think, has a better overarching story. It's like an anthology movie where this woman is babysitting these kids, and then one of the kids received a VHS tape from one of the houses, and the VHS tape is the like shorts that is played for the movie.
Ooh, I could give out VHS tapes at Halloween.
And
duplicates.
Get rid of them. That is not a bad idea, man.
And
that's not a bad idea.
The overarching story of that one, of the first one, and how it kind of ties into the story of the woman who's watching these kids is better than the execution of the second one, which is the same concept, but
another anthology,
just done worse.
Okay.
So they're trying to do like a creep show thing, but instead of comic books, they were doing VHS tapes.
But they're the OG VHS.
Yeah. So they're both skippable, but yeah. And speaking of anthology movies, Trick or Treat. I watched Trick or Treat again.
Where are the All Hallows Eve, Jimmy?
Shudder?
Probably.
Shudder and Tubi, yeah. Right. Trick or Treat, what I would say is like a Halloween classic anthology movie, streaming on Max. And it does the anthology in a really, really cool way because all the stories happen in the same world. They don't happen like this, where it's like a VHS tape and it's separate from the next story.
Yeah,
it's
all the stories intertwined.
It's all kind of connected.
And they meet at the end.
And there's like a big twist that I totally forgot about with Anna Paquin and her story. And Brian Cox is in it. I forgot that he was the neighbor, the kind of crazy neighbor. And then there's a reveal about his character that's connected to a story about a bus full of kids that drove over a cliff.
Also, Dylan Baker's in this, and he's really good.
Yeah. And is Dylan Baker the principal guy? Yeah. What's with him in like Kids? Huh?
Yeah.
He kind of has two roles almost in that movie. But
I think Anna Paquin's never been more gorgeous than in this movie.
True
Possibly.
Nope.
Her and Mac DeMarco should get together with the gap tooth.
I know. You get Madonna in.
Yeah. Get that London.
And Michael Strahan too. And Flea. Flea was in it.
Yeah, Trick or Treat, definitely worth a watch, especially during now. I watched the original Evil Dead movie.
Damn, dude, you got a lot this week.
I did. Streaming on Tubi, and that's a really fun, kind of really campy, early Sam Raimi movie. That is, I'd never seen it. I've only seen Evil Dead. I don't even know if I've seen Evil Dead 2.
Which is essentially the first one.
Yeah, just remade.
You know that scene where he's like spinning around and like being shot down the passageway or down like the path or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's him in fast motion and he's like spinning around and like screaming and stuff. they literally put him on a rig in the back of a truck and shot it in 3 frames per second and just drove down the road for like a mile as he's spinning him around and stuff. He's getting sick.
That's awesome.
That's hella funny.
Yeah, like super DIY back then.
And I totally didn't realize that Ash, his whole name is Ashley. His full name is Ashley.
Yeah.
Because they don't ever call him that in like Army of Darkness.
Ashley Schaefer BMW.
Or in I guess any other properties where he's in it.
Groovy.
Oh, I forgot to mention this other movie that I watched last week called The Belko Experiment. And this is produced and written by James Gunn. Not written by directed by him, but this was a very fun, dark, and bloody movie streaming on Tubi, Pluto, and Paramount Plus via Apple TV. Basically, these people work for this company called Belko, and they're it's like a mysterious organization. You don't really realize what they do, and even the people who work there at one point in the movie, like, what do we even do here?
Okay,
because in the beginning of the movie, all they get trapped in the building, and there's a voiceover in the PA system that says, if you don't kill 2 people in the next hour, 5 people will die, right? And they're like, what are they talking? Is this like a joke or something? And then all these metal shutters close all the windows and doors, and they get trapped inside. And then you can imagine it just gets progressively worse. People actually start dying or being killed. And
I didn't know what this movie's about. I've only heard the name.
It's very, very bloody and violent and unrelenting.
Adding to the list.
And it's fun. It's a fun movie. And I got the first clue that it was James Gunn was involved before I saw his name in the credits, because his brother, right? His brother's in it.
Sean
Gunn, yeah. I was like, hey, it's that guy. Is this a James Gunn joint?
Yeah.
And then I see, produced by James Gunn, written by James Gunn, not directed by him. And then you get a little bit of answers towards the end of what's actually going on, because that's really what you're wondering, is like, why are they doing this to these people who just work for this company? And then the lead, I think, is the guy from Hush, who's the guy trying to get in the whole time.
Sure.
And that's definitely probably like the best thing that I watched.
Cool.
And then Daddy's Head, which you also watched.
Yeah, I'll talk about it when you're done.
And then I'll just jump in when you mentioned it then.
All right.
Yeah, that's
marathon.
it.
Jeez Louise.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to touch on a movie I watched a little while back, and I don't think I talked about it on the show. I don't know why. I logged it, but didn't talk about it. Trap. M. Night Shyamalan's Trap.
Trapped.
Yeah, it's the concept is dumb. It makes no sense. There's a serial killer named the Butcher, and it's what's the guy's name? The actor who
Josh
plays him?
Hartnett.
Yeah, Josh Hartnett. He's the Butcher. Hey, you know that Butcher guy? This psycho that just goes around slashing people up? He's gonna be in this concert tonight. We got firsthand knowledge that he's in the concert tonight. And the police, they set up a trap. This whole thing is a trap. That's why the movie's called Trap, says the security guard. And
seem to have a lot of information for security guards.
I said the same thing when I watched it. I'm like, this guy's got a lot of information. It's like Chris Farley in Wayne's World. So Josh Hartnett is the serial killer, and his daughter, his real daughter in the movie's character, they go to this concert for Raven, I think is the
Raven?
It's a fake Raven. Artist's name.
She's not a real.
It's M. Night
artist.
Shyamalan's daughter.
Oh,
nice.
Is she the director of Watchers?
No, it's his other daughter.
Oh, okay. The nepotism in this guy.
So it's and of course M. Night Shyamalan is in this, and it's super weird too, because like the performing artist, it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. So I think he's Indian, right?
I think
so. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's Indian. So she's Indian. Everyone in the audience is basically just a bunch of like teenage white girls. So she's like a kind of like a Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo or something like that. Lady Raven is the
Lady Raven.
Lady Raven
it's like
is
a
the recording artist.
Batman character.
Yeah, and she's Indian. There's not a single other person of color in the entire concert except for the fucking guy who's played by M. Night Shyamalan, who works at he's like working the concert, and he's got like a clipboard and like like
headset
and stuff. Yeah. And at some point they're like, we're gonna get Lady Raven super fan up here. And Josh Hartnett's like, I got to get out of this fucking trap. I got to get on stage so I can go out the back door. So I got to get my daughter picked as a super fan to go up on stage and dance with Lady Raven. So he finds the one Indian person in the entire concert and goes, that's probably his daughter or his uncle, her uncle.
Oh, he's just assuming. He's racist also.
And he's like, hey, over here, you work for her? and he goes, yes, I do. And he's basically makes up some bullshit like, oh yeah, my daughter had cancer and she beat it, but she's real down in the dumps because she's got no friends because look at her. And they're like, plays this sob story about it to get her up on stage, and it works. It's so dumb. This movie's so dumb. It's the middest movie I think I've seen by Shyamalan.
So was there any sort of reveal?
Yeah, there is a reveal near the end.
Is there a twist?
Yeah, there's a little twist, but it's not quite
because the reveal is put in the trailers that he's the,
and it from the very beginning of it all.
Yeah.
So there's so many decisions that the characters make in this that it's almost like a really shitty old horror movie or like a made-for-TV movie where you're like, no one would make the decisions that are being made here. Like at some point, Lady Raven, he reveals himself to her as the butcher. And instead of like telling the police, she's like, I'll go to his house and solve the crime myself.
What?
And she's like, hey, come in my limousine. I'll drive you and your daughter home. Okay. And then she goes to his fucking house where supposedly this person is being held hostage, like a, Silence of the Lambs style in the basement.
Okay. I mean, yeah, she probably watched True Detective season 1 and was like, I could be Russ Cole.
I could do that. I'm this 5'2" dainty pop star. So the other thing that stinks about this movie is that like you don't believe that she's a pop star. The concert looks cheesy as shit. The performances are not super catchy. The pit.
And this is a recommendation?
It's Shyamalan. You got to watch it. It's Shyamalan. It's Josh Hartnett.
I don't got to do anything.
Yeah, sure. So it's like a 2.5 star movie. Could be less, but some people seem to really love it. So, I mean, take a risk. It's kind of fun, but it's like some of the...
Is it funny?
Yeah.
Like happening is funny?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because I've heard that his character, Josh Hartnett's character, is like whenever someone's like mentioning the butcher or serial killer, he just kind of like doesn't do a good job of hiding that he's like, the killer.
Yeah, it's crazy. Butcher, huh?
He looks like
what a wacko,
crazy person.
Yeah, it just keeps going down this really weird road, and the place where the story ends, you never would guess. Like it just keeps going in a more progressively dumb direction. But I'm excited about Smile 2. I heard Smile 2 is really good, and that's also about a pop star, but supposedly like she's believable as like the songs are catchy. There's good performances, good dance choreography that actually believe like the weight of the character. So I want to look forward to that because this does not do that. And Kid Cudi's in it for a second, playing an insane person. He's playing like another.
Kid Cudi.
He's playing another like music artist, and he's got like a long, straight blonde wig on. He's like very like over the top, flamboyant. It's super funny because he comes out of nowhere, has nothing to do with the plot, doesn't help anything, and then is gone. So
awesome.
So that's Trap. That is streaming. Let me see where that's streaming at. I had to rent it. It's like $6 rental. Maybe that's why I didn't talk about it. So anyway, so that's that.
Trap.
The next movie, the next best of the week, next up is Daddy's Head, streaming on Shudder. Fun name.
Interesting name.
Yeah. And I heard people giving this a comparison to Extro. Tyler, you've seen Extro, right?
No.
Through bootleg cinema, Adam?
No, I didn't catch that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
That's surprising.
Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, and it's basically a young boy. His father dies in a car accident, and he now is living in this home with his new stepmother.
His mom had already died.
His mom had already died years back, so now he's an orphan. But his dad had just married this new woman.
They weren't married yet.
I think they were.
No, they weren't.
It was because you said as his spouse, you belong.
No,
whatever.
they were going to get married.
You sure?
But then he died.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. She gets all his belongings.
She gets guardianship.
Yeah, gets. Well, she's asked if she wants guardianship.
Oh,
because they're like, maybe you're right. Maybe they hadn't got married yet. Because
she's like, now meeting you, you're you're obviously qualified to take care of this child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they basically, the social worker or whoever comes in and they're like, we got to figure out what we're going to do with little Timmy. And she goes, what do you mean? Well, he has no next of kin.
Yeah.
Your husband or
everyone in his family is dead.
Literally.
He was an only child.
He's an only child. The dad was an only child. The mom who's dead is an only child. So he's got no next of kin. Grandparents are dead. And she's like, well, what happens if I don't take him? Well, she's going to go into foster care or the system, a home, something like that. And she's like, all right. And it's implied that she's kind of a fuck up and she's constantly like drunk on wine. She's like that wine mom drunk.
Oh, okay.
But is crying about how terrible her life is as she's trapped in this multi-million-dollar house because he's an architect. He built this cool custom house.
Yeah.
And she just can't handle it. So she can't keep her shit together. She can barely help herself. Nonetheless, this child starts seeing.
I think I might have seen this one. It sounds familiar.
It literally came out 2 days ago.
Oh, never mind.
So probably not.
Did it come out 2 days ago?
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really recently. So that's kind of the human side of the story.
Yeah.
And then there's a creature that they keep seeing in the house.
It's hard to describe what it is. Really.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like a Wendigo type of animal thing, whatever.
I don't want to say what it looks like because I think that's the fun of the movie is being like, oh, what is that?
And you kind of barely see you don't really see it.
They play with shadows and kind of the darkness, but the first few scares in the movie are very cheap jump scares. They're like, noise stings in a dream.
Yeah.
And they're just like cheap. I'm like, okay, this kind of stinks. And then when you see the actual thing in the house, it's just like this like black ball silhouette in the darkness on the other side of the counter. And then you're like,
it's an animal or something.
The stepmom and the son are looking at it and they're like, what is that? And it bolts away super fast, like a rabbit, like the speed of a rabbit, but it's big.
Yeah.
And it's just this dark black blob, and you're like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
And more or less, you start realizing that it can take the face of it, can take the form of things it's seen.
Yeah.
So it has a picture of the kid's dad, and it starts taking on his face, but it's a picture of him smiling at like a football game or something like that, or with the son. So he's like got this big cheesy grin on his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the top of its head looks like daddy's head.
The sound design of the creature's voice.
It's very good.
Because it mimics, attempts to mimic his father's voice, but it's like obviously only a child who doesn't know how to handle grief would believe it.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what the kid is. And honestly, I was thinking more of like Babadook when I was watching this movie because of the relationship between the mother and the child. It's very tumultuous. She tells him, she's someone who's like, I didn't even want kids. But she gets in a relationship with someone who already has a kid,
That'll happen.
So it's, that's kind of like the comparison I was having throughout the whole thing is their relationship, although it's a little bit, it's strained like it is in Babadook.
Babadook, yeah. But she's not a blood relation to him, so it makes it even more disconnected.
Yeah.
And there's some really interesting, they do some interesting playing with that creature. And I think that's the most effective part of it. It's not like we're breaking new grounds. It's kind of like this trauma story about what happens after, this child has to figure out how to, live life without his parents. And there's this new parental figure that he doesn't connect with, much like Mama, that was, what's his name? Annie Muschietti's Mama. A little bit of Babadook, and then a little bit of Extra, because Extra is this really kind of shitty old movie, sci-fi movie that had an interesting, really good like practical effects showing of this creature, but it was like an alien that came down and it took like ideas from your mind and put them in the real world, like dreams and toys would come to life and stuff, but it was all in this dreamscape, and you're never sure what this creature's like goal is or why it's there. But it's saying things like, we can be a family. So it's maybe trying to lure the child in and then kill and eat the child. You don't know.
What is the goal? Because there's plenty of opportunities that thing had.
Oh yeah,
it's almost like it's like it.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
It's just scaring the kid, even though it's not even scaring the kid.
Yeah, the kid's like into it. He's like, "Oh, dad's back, dad's alive," and the people are like, "Your dad's dead, kid. Shut the fuck up,
dumbass,
you idiot." That's
what
daddy.
You just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Orphan.
Yeah.
So Daddy's Head, it's interesting. I would give it like 3 stars.
Yeah.
All right.
It's more interesting than
It's well
good.
made.
Yeah. I think some of the shot composition is good. There's a lot of interesting angles in it, and it looks well. It looks good.
Yeah. Good performances too, I think, from the kid.
Yeah, kid did good.
Yeah.
Mom's annoying, which is kind of the point.
Yeah.
Next up, another new release movie streaming only on Apple TV starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Wolves. Yeah, it's not wolves with a V. It's wolves with an F.
It's like 2 people named Wolf.
Because they're 2 lone wolves. They're 2 lone wolves. And the whole plot of this...
Please clap.
The plot of this is that they're both cleaners for like the mob, but they don't work for the mob.
They're wet man.
Yeah, if you have a
you have a dead body or something.
Exactly. If you have a dead body, you call them and they come and fix it for you.
Oh, I mean, it's like Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction.
Exactly. Mr. Wolf. He's a wolf.
Yeah.
So anyways, so they both get called to the site of a disposal by 2 different people.
Okay.
And they both are like, I'm the only one in the city that can do what I do. And then this other guy shows up and he goes, I'm here to fix your problem. I'm the only guy in the city that can do what I do. And now they don't like each other because they're both like, wait a second.
I thought I was the only
I was the lone wolf. And there's a comedic aspect to the whole thing because like they can't be seen together because if their bosses know that they're working together, that means that they know information about each other's jobs, and the whole point of it is to be 100% confidential and erase what happened. So they get paired up by one of their bosses, but they've also worked for people in the past that he's like, you can't see this guy. This guy can't see us to know that we're working together, or else he's going to kill us both. Because we're worried about the exposure. And so there's a lot of kind of good comedy built into that. And this is very light lifting, but it is engaging. Mm-hmm. So there's a kid that they have to dispose of that may or I say kid, he's like 20, a young man that may or may not actually be dead. They keep not 100% sure, and they're like, is he just high or is he actually dead? And only
one way to find out.
That whole thing is funny, and them running into their old boss is pretty funny, and what they have to do once they're caught,
So it's like a comedy?
It is, yeah. It's like a clever comedy more than a laugh out loud comedy.
It's like a kiss kiss bang bang comedy.
A little bit of that, or like Ocean's 11 without all the great writing and like the.
Is it violent?
Not really.
Is it PG-13?
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay.
I don't know if it is for sure, but I'd call it PG-13.
Any bucks?
I don't know. Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So Wolf's Apple TV Plus. If you like Brad Pitt, if you like George Clooney, you could do a lot worse. It's probably a good Saturday afternoon movie. I probably wouldn't waste a primetime slot on it, but okay.
Yeah.
Next up on another new release that's on Netflix right now. It's technically coded as a 2023, but it just hit Netflix. It's called Woman of the Hour.
Heard good things about it.
Anna Kendrick's directorial debut.
Heard good things about it.
Anna Kendrick Lamar, Matt Stone, Trey Parker. So this is a real life story about a serial killer that they called like the dating show serial killer or something like that.
Dating shows.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before.
A real thing?
A real thing, yeah, in real life. And when we started watching it, producer Justice said, oh, this guy. I've heard about this guy. And I didn't know anything about it.
This guy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, Justice likes this true crime stuff, conspiracy theory, cryptid. He listens to a lot of like long form conversations about that sort of stuff.
Nice.
And it's told from the perspective of this woman who goes on. She's an aspiring actress who's not doing well in Hollywood, and her agent suggests she goes on this dating show just to get exposure and put herself out there. And then she gets the winner of, I like you burp in the mic.
I know. I realized too late.
You put your mouth away after.
It wasn't the worst I could have done.
Yeah. So anyways, she goes on this dating show, and I think the fun of the movie is the dating show stuff when she really comes out of her shell and starts kind of taking these guys to task on this shitty, schlocky dating show.
Yeah.
But the winner that she picks on the dating show is the killer. And you know that already because as the story is being told, you're seeing flashbacks of his previous kills. So he's already exposed to the audience as the killer, and you've already seen some of the terrible things he's done and how he is always these young women he's focusing on. She was hot, dude. And then he's like killing runaways and this and that, and you're just like, it's an interesting direction. I mean, the way that the movie's cut together is interesting because it's like, I don't know, it's I thought it was really well done. I think for Anna Kendrick, a first feature, the decision making of the way the movie was cut together and the direction of everything was good, and she's consistently good. Every time I see her in something, she's good. She's charming, she's attractive, she's, relatable. She can be like this bumbling idiot and then also very like strong-willed at times.
I feel like she could play a live action adaptation of like Five O Mousekewitz.
I don't know what that means. But yeah, I was really good. I've heard some people say that it doesn't hold very true to the real life story of the killer, but I don't know. And, and at the very end, it gives you some stats about the person in real life and what happened in real life, and it was shocking.
Imagine if it was like if they did like a alternate history, like went the alternate history route.
Oh,
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, apparently he was pretty accurate as far as like when he got captured and all this kind of stuff. But so she's the best part of it, and I think this is good. I don't think that I'm going to remember it for a long time, but I think it's a great first feature.
Nice.
And she directed it.
She directed it. Okay. Yeah, didn't write it, but she directed it and more or less starred in it. So that's Woman of the Hour, streaming on Netflix. I'm almost done with my Nightmare on Elm Street watch through.
Oh yeah, I forgot
How many
about
are
that.
there?
9.
Oh my god.
Damn.
There's 1 through 6. 6 is Freddy's Dead. 7 is a new Nightmare. I just finished that one. And then there's Freddy versus Jason, which I'm including, and then the reboot with Jackie Earl Haley, which I'm also going to consider part of it. So I'm watching all that.
Rorschach himself.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm not going to talk about all these until I get my ranking, but I will say that so far, the only one I've actually really enjoyed was number 5, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Dream Child.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week. Yeah,
I don't think so. That was
you did.
You did say that it was the best one that you've watched so far.
Okay, cool. So I won't talk about it again then. So, but that one's actually streaming on Max. It's not Max. Amazon. It is on Max. I'm sorry.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
you've seen Freddy vs. Jason already,
yes.
right? Have you seen the reboot?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Freddy vs. Jason was good.
I like Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, that was
the shot of
fun.
The shot of Jason walking on fire through the cornfield is something I'll never forget.
I saw that movie in theaters.
Me too. I had to convince my dad to take me. Saw it at the Arden Theater when it was still there.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyways, you can watch that on Max. Dream Child. Most people are going to think it sucks. I thought it was great.
This is like a Rocky 5 situation.
Exactly. And then just my last one. It's the best of the week, and it's still most people are not going to love this, but I thought it was great. This is a Shaw Brothers movie. I'm making my way through that Shaw Brothers box set that I got. It's the 1970s kung fu cinema.
Oh, okay.
This is called The Crippled Avengers. Crippled Avengers. Streaming on Amazon Prime, Arrow, IndieFlix, Mubi, and FlixFling.
Is this like The Ringer?
The
concept of The Ringer?
No. There's an emperor or some sort of lord or something like that, and these bandits come in the first scene, and they cut his wife's legs off with a big ass scimitar or something like that, and then cut his young son. He's like 9 or 10 or 8 or something like that.
Cut him in half.
Cut his arms off.
It's like Only God Forgives.
The wife bleeds out and dies. The son survives, and then they kill the killers.
Okay.
Flash forward years later, the son has these metal arms made for him, and it's
sick.
It's pretty goofy because there's like a Inspector Gadget component to them, so they can like shoot out.
Oh jeez.
And you're like, what?
Rocket fists.
Kind of, yeah. It's like the long, boom, punches you from a mile away. And you're like, okay, cool. So this guy's going to be taking down bad guys. Turns out they turn into bad guys. They're so corrupted by what happened to them, and they're drunk with power of these metal fists, that they start going around taking vengeance on people that have very small slights against them. The Lord and his son are walking through town, and the beggar from out of town bumps into them. He's like, "You're blind now," and like 3 Stooges his eyes out.
Blind now.
Seriously. And then a guy's talking shit about them. The blacksmith of the town is talking shit about them. He's like, these guys can't do that. They can't do that. And he invites him to his house and feeds him this wine that makes you not be able to talk anymore. So now he's mute.
Okay.
And then they chop forever. Yeah. And then some other guy comes in and says something to them, and he chops his legs off. So you have this group of crippled people, and one of them is like this accomplished, Ronin. He's like not Ronin because it's Chinese, but he's a accomplished martial artist who tries to avenge them. He goes, "Oh, this guy made you guys all crippled. I'm gonna go kill him and his dad, to avenge you."
Then he gets beat up.
No, they make him mentally handicapped. They put a clamp on his head and tighten it until his brain squeezes and he turns into dumb. None of it really makes sense.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
Yeah, none of it really makes sense, but you just got to kind of go with it.
Okay.
So, long story short, you got these like 5 guys that are not. Only one of them was like a martial arts expert.
Everyone else,
and now he's dumb. But the rest of them are just normal people, and like one of them can't see, one of them can't hear, one of them can't talk, one of them is missing arms, one of them is missing legs.
But with all of us combined,
exactly, they Voltron together
to make one abled person,
and
with the powers
they go to
that we don't have.
They go to the master of the guy that got turned dumb, and
is that proper term? You're dumb now.
He's not.
Well, he got his head put in a vice to make him dumb.
He acts like a child, more or less. He's like goofing off all the time and just flipping around. He's still got a martial arts skills.
Interesting.
But he like flips around and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you're fighting that guy? I'm gonna like mess with you both." And he's like flicking their ears and shit while they're fighting, and he's just like a little kid.
Is this played as a comedy or
a little bit? Yeah.
Okay.
This was made when?
1978.
Okay. All right.
And and in China. So
is it dubbed? Did you watch it dubbed?
No, I watched it with subtitles.
Oh, okay.
I actually changed it to dubs to see, and then I changed it to a different dub. It was like in Cantonese, and I changed it to Mandarin with English subs just to get the full effect. Played around with each one of them. It's best in Cantonese. So, anyways, they go to get the master is going to teach them how to kick ass, and those training sequences were fantastic. Everybody's learning how to fight, without their eyes and without their ears, and the one guy who can't hear, he puts a reflective wrist collars on so he could see behind him. He kind of like walks in these dangerous situations so he could see someone sneaking up on him.
Yeah.
And then the masters know that they're going to get their asses kicked by these crippled Avengers. So they start figuring out ways to... That's the name of the movie.
No, I know.
They start figuring out ways to fuck with them with their newfound talent.
It's in the song. Why can't I say it's in
the
song?
So like the blind guy, they're like, oh no, the deaf guy the blind guy comes in.
Blind guy and a deaf guy.
Blind guy comes in and he relies on his hearing, right?
Yeah.
So they surround him with soldiers with like these cymbals for shields, and they start and banging on their cymbals as they're beating him up so he can't hear them.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's deaf relies on his sight. They have they lure him into a mirrored room and they shine lights at him for the mirror.
You can do that with anybody.
Yeah, I know. So it's like learning how to overcome your weaknesses or, your whatever.
Oh, so it's an aspiring story.
It is.
Inspiring, yeah.
And then they fuck with them even more now that they know that they have those, and then they overcome that somehow. So
just because you have you're blind, deaf, you don't have any limbs, doesn't mean you can't achieve anything.
Yeah. So and this is one
just because you're a human pillow.
Of all these like Shaw movies that I've seen, this is the bloodiest.
Okay.
Because they're slicing off limbs left, like at willy-nilly. Willy-nilly.
Off with his legs.
Yeah. Like, oh, you think you're so hot with your legs standing there? How about this? And he like,
how do they make him deaf?
They box his ear.
Yeah.
No, I think they stab something into his ears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal. So this is streaming on Amazon Prime, Arrow, IndieFlix, Mubi, and FlixFling. So Crippled Avengers, 1978. It is a really interesting, slightly gory.
Made in poor taste now?
I don't think so.
Did you think?
No, I don't think so. It's not.
Think it would fly nowadays? If they were to make this concept today, the same exact concept.
Crippled Avengers?
It would be called Crippled Avengers.
Disabled Avengers?
It would be called, I don't know.
Disabled Avengers.
Differently abled Avengers.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I watched like 3 of those back to back, and this was the only one that stuck out to me as like really fun.
Okay.
That sounds fun.
Well, it's an insane concept. So
it is.
You can imagine
it is.
Why.
My review says, brutal death from minute 1, a nice subversion of the hero villain, and at least one tragic hero death. I love the creativity of the methods used to counteract the specialized skills of each fighter. The film stands apart from many of the 70s Shaw films, Worth your time, especially if you enjoy a little levity. So
Nice.
that's it.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the giveaway on next episode.
Well, we have a little voicemail, don't we?
Oh, shit. We do have a voicemail.
We do have a voicemail, finally.
All right. So we have
After a whole year and a month and some change.
Yes. So I'm going to play that voicemail right now.
Voicemail's back.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, all right. Voicemail's back. Just had a question for you guys. Listener Dallas here. I have, for whatever reason, never seen any of the Alien movies. Never touched that franchise.
Wow.
So my question is, do you think it would be a good idea to try watching them for the first time in chronological order? I don't know how that would go because I haven't seen them. I know a lot of complaints from Alien prequels is that there's a lot of fan service. And I don't know that I'd be able to pick up on what's fan service or not because I've never seen the things to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that is all. Love the show. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dallas.
Goodbye. I like that. Goodbye.
Thanks,
Thank
Dallas.
you, Dallas. He has a golden voice for radio, I swear.
He does.
He needs to get into that. He needs to break into that industry.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
So story chronologically or release date?
I'd say
release. Yeah, release. I mean, because
and then do it story-wise.
Yeah, because I mean, like that first Alien movie, at least for myself, that was the first Alien movie I saw, and it got the hooks in me. And then watching Aliens, like even more so. Then
the so on and so forth. Alien 3, Alien Resurrection.
Yeah, like
Prometheus, Alien Covenant. Romulus.
Angry Honor also says release order as well.
Yeah,
I think I have to agree with that because this may sound like blasphemy, but I think once you go from if you go from release order, Prometheus is first.
Right, story wise.
Story wise. Yeah, sorry, not release order, chronologically, story wise. Prometheus is first, and that's a very like broad scoped, bombastic storytelling that's very, very big and very like it's intense.
Yeah.
And then once you go, you're gonna have 1, 2, 3.
So you have Prometheus, then Covenant, then
Alien, then Romulus,
then Alien. So after Prometheus and Covenant, Alien is going to seem so.
It's very jarring.
Yeah, very very slow and methodical, and it's a completely different tone. And it is objectively a very good movie. It's just the whole greatness of that movie is that it hides that creature for just till the right time.
Right.
You see it poking out, and you see like the goo and the head and the shininess, the slime,
ooey gooey sliminess.
So it's like you kind of need to be introduced to the character of the xenomorph from Alien for it to get the full impact before it gets bastardized by something like, I don't know, like Alien Covenant with the fucking devil dogs running around on their legs.
Yeah,
you know?
Covenant really definitely puts the xenomorph on the front line of the screen.
Dallas,
in front of the screen.
Dallas, Heather also in the chat also agrees release order.
And Angry Otter.
And he says as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, Pete, like having the xenomorph like hidden throughout the whole. And again, Alien objectively is a very good slow burn movie. So
almost as good as Prometheus.
I love Prometheus, but if you're gonna start with the Alien series with watching Prometheus, like again, it just takes away the mysticism of the xenomorph and really the whole.
You're gonna be like, "Where's the black goo?" The rest of the series, where's the black goo?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to suck that goo.
But if the
release the goo,
if the Alien series, if it does get the hooks in you, like reading I have like a big comic book series of the Alien comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a plethora of Alien material to go through. So, but starting off with the first one, you definitely have to start off with the first one. It just
agreed. Everybody agrees. Watch it in release order.
Yeah,
and then maybe watch it in story order.
I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I should try that.
But obviously, there's a big drop off in like
production
I would say
quality
a little bit because like obviously the new ones are more polished looking.
Yeah,
and then obviously other ones were made in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
so it's like going to be. It's going to look different.
Yeah, it's going to be jarring. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. If you like the story, then
anything else, fellas?
I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. So thank you to our cool ass Yarudies over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather in the chat, Michael in the chat, Steven, and Chris. And if you want to support us, please do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass, or you can just head on over to the YouTube, share that with a friend or family member, a movie lover in your life that you love as well. Ooh, Heather says, Prometheus was one of those prequels that you need to have seen the original, which doesn't lend itself to story order. Great point.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there that you will kind of be missing on if you haven't seen the original.
Agreed.
All right. So,
seems backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it kind of does.
Until next time. Thank you for joining us on this live stream. Follow us later on in the day if you're in the chat, or later on in the week if you're watching later, as we review Olympus Has Fallen. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class, and leave us a voicemail at our new voicemail number at 209-283-1716.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC, and on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
There we go. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
See you later.
See ya.
Tater tot.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.